Hey guys, we are having so much fun. We decided to go again, but I tell you, we are going in on a different level. Bez, a good mate of mine, has actually come in with his YouTube channel and his Twitch channel. Now, this is what Restream is. Restream is the ability to restream the file to many, many, many places. Now, typically people would send that file to YouTube or to LinkedIn or to Facebook, but Bez has decided to send it to YouTube and Twitch. Tell us whether that's working, Bez, and whether or not you've tried this. It'd be very cool if we can get this to work.
Okay, so let me check. So first is YouTube, right? Let's see if it's on YouTube. Um, so yeah, I see that we're streaming to YouTube. So it says live under my picture. So I guess we must be streaming there. Now the next thing is let's see if it's going to LinkedIn.
Won't we go to
So
your LinkedIn or go to your Twitch?
yeah, well I've got three. It says there's three here
Oh, it does
connected.
say three. Let me just see.
So yes, let me see. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, it looks like I'm live on my LinkedIn. So let's see if uh let me see on Twitch here. So let's see if I have it on. I'm looking off my mobile phone. So let's see if I've got a Twitch app here. I should have one. Where is it? Twitch, where are you? So how are you doing, Keith? I guess you were on the show earlier. So while I look for my Twitch,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
what I did this week is I upgraded my Restream account to Pro.
okay,
So I can now have 10 people on the call. I can send it to three places, but my guests can also send it to three places. And I think the way it works, I'll ask someone about this, but I think the way it works is that you can send it to as many places as your account allows. So if you're on the paid version, you can send it to three places. If you are on the free version, you can send it to two places. So I am extremely excited that this is happening because I don't have a Twitch account and I don't really have a YouTube channel to speak of. Now I'm reaching an audience that I don't have. And it's exactly the point I'm actually making. What we talked at great length about this. We chatted for 2 hours today. And Restream, I think, does this the best of all. I think it's a very good site. And hello to the two people listening. Jump in if you want to speak. I can have up to 10 people on the call. I'm going to send this out again and let people join. This is completely impromptu, and the show itself finished about an hour ago. But can you see see the sort of massive potential here, Bez? It's amazing, isn't it?
oh yeah, I'm actually on my Twitch channel too. So this is pretty cool. So I'm
Yeah.
in three places.
This is the reason I decided to upgrade. First of all, I can
Wow.
have 10 people on the call. We actually maxed out, even at 10 people today, we maxed out. I thought we'd have enough, but you get this little message that says the account is full. We maxed out.
Mhm.
So if there is indeed anyone on the call, we're just having some fun today. Why don't you ask some questions, and we're very
Sure.
happy to answer those. And we also did a pretty heavy lift on what Go Brunch does. How is your Go Brunch show going? You do a regular show there.
Oh,
How's that going?
it's going pretty good. We have a core group that shows up, and today we added a couple more, so we're at 18 people that show up. So on average 13, 16 will show up, but it's steadily been increasing. And so do you mind if I share a little bit about what the show is
Please,
about?
please, please. I'd love you to do that.
Okay, good. I was talking to somebody, my friend Neda, and it was while during our conversation, she said something that prompted me to say, "I'm gonna do a sprint." So I did. I came up with the concept, and I was like, "Okay, we're mid-January, so I can't do a 12-week sprint. So I decided to call it the 10 well, I named it, but I didn't even name it the 10-week sprint. I named it like some career cohort accountability space or something like that, some odd name, which I won't name that in the future. But it's a space where what I do is I teach a share a tip, a career tip, and I have a framework of 8 pillars, but I'm really focused on 5. And the reason for this is like it's a sprint because we started on January the 20th, and we go Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And what happens is, and then we run that Monday through Friday, and we just share a tip that we implement it. Like we try to implement what we're talking about, and then we hold each other accountable. We share some wins, and before you know it, the whole hour is gone. It goes by very quick. And then people want to stay there. That's fine. I just go, and I've created a few breakout rooms, but um, here's the thing. I set it up on a Luma calendar, and that's been a really cool tool to get it out there. And I'm a huge fan of Luma right now because people ask me all the time, "Hey, Bez, where's the link?" And I was like, "Just go subscribe to the calendar, or here's the link for today, or here's the link for the whole entire 50 events," because I did set up one for each day, and it gives me analytics, it gives me who registered, but more importantly, it's a safe space, and we're hoping that in these 10 weeks, we do the basic blocking and tackling that it takes to get the job, and I'm trying to stay away from the applying because that's not what I do. Um, and so far it's been going good. Here's one thing I did do to start off the day one, because right now we're on day 11, which is the beginning of the third week. Um, Day one, I started talking about grief, like, hey, when you lose a job, you actually there's 7 stages of grief you go through. And I didn't know how that would land. I was like, oh, might not land good. And then, but I got a lot of feedback. People said I needed to hear that. And I was like, yep, you got to let stuff go and you got to move on. At least if you don't let it go yet, know that you're in a process that's going to take whatever time it's going to take. But acknowledging is where is the beginning of the journey. So
I love this. And you're using Go Brunch for this, aren't you? Which is a very private space. Tell me about that. Tell me why that works really well.
so I already run like on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. I run really early at like 8 in the morning. With my friend Doc Rico, run a room. It's a Twitter space or X Spaces, and it's around the business and art. So like the art, business behind the art, and it's a slowly growing community. But here's the problem: it is so buggy. We have a lot of issues. Like I'm not. It's so you remember LinkedIn audio?
Mm.
It's really bad experience. So one of the things I liked about Go Brunch is like, okay, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to teach something, okay? And sometimes I need visual aids. And then the main important thing, I just need it to work. And so Go Brunch gave me that ability that it's reliable. I was also trying to get away from the normal apps that require you to download an app, and you know, and that makes something heavier. So it's extra friction. So the only thing I could come up with is Go Brunch, and I have people from Belgium, Netherlands, if you know Ollie and Luz, those people, yeah, and then I've got people from from Africa, the UK. all the way to the West Coast in California. So when we start at 9 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock their morning. So I've got a couple people from the West Coast. It's not only California, it's like Washington and Oregon area. So um I think, and I try to get them engaged and involved. So give them the mic. I've brought in other people to teach. Like, you may have a domain expertise. I'll tap you on the shoulder and say, we need you to teach this because this actually is relevant in a job search. And so I've done that once already, and uh, yeah, it's been fun.
I love the idea. I love the idea of the sort of private rooms because
Mhm.
um, people in job search mode don't necessarily want to tell the world they're looking for a job, or be very, very sort of open about the pain associated with fear and doubt and uncertainty. But in a
Mhm.
group of people that are all looking for a job, you've got this power to say, mate, I feel you. I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've done that. I'm experiencing that too. And let's help each other. It's a much better experience for that exact cohort, isn't it?
Exactly, and you're right, because I've got people there as coming out of school as software engineers, and to all the way from VPs and C-suite level people. So it is a humbling experience to look for a job, and a lot of times the more senior you are in your career, what happens is that you look around, it's like, oh, I must be behind the times, and I don't. Oh, I guess there's a new way to look for a job, and so they start to get fancy, and they don't get any results because they're applying, and they've never applied in their life because they're headhunted, right? They've been referred to a job, so now they're trying to do something, that they've never done before, and here's the sad thing. The statistics out there are saying that if you apply, there's a 99.7% failure rate, which means that there's a 0.03% success rate. And those odds are not good. So this is, so I tell them, look, in 30 years, I've never gotten a job by applying, but I've gotten even my first job out of the university because I actually went to the administrative secretary at the School of Business, and I just asked, "Hey, do you got a lead for me?" And you know what she said? She goes, "Yeah, I had an alumni call them. I called them, and I got the job. I went, interviewed, went through the process, and voila, you know." And I didn't even have a resume. I think I actually had a resume. That's what at least school gave me that. But yeah, I think it gives a more it is an intimate environment. We've all gotten to know each other. Um, I actually built out some breakout rooms. Now, I sort of failed in how I did it because I didn't know how to do the tech, but I had people break up, and I assigned them to certain rooms, and that was good because that gives people an opportunity to get to know each other, and it brings the group closer. So I think I'm a huge fan of Go Brunch right now, but N all the other things, like you were saying that, hey, it's not public, but the other thing, it works, and I like it a lot better than Zoom because I can leave, and if they wanna hang out, and I told them, "Come in here, use the rooms. You need to, have a meeting with somebody, come in here, I don't mind," and that I don't need to give my Zoom account, or they don't I don't have to go through this extra stuff to do stuff for them. The room's there for them, and then they can come in and out.
I love the sort of the flexibility that it gives the community. The idea that you for two things. One is you can leave after you've started a show.
Mhm.
But second of all, you can say, look, I can't come today, but by all means get together if you want to.
Right.
So suddenly you've got this space that you don't have to be in all the time, but that your community can benefit from. It's very cool. Jump in if you want to talk about that LinkedIn user. It's not showing who
That
that is.
that I believe is Ollie.
Oh, okay. This is a great workaround to X Spaces. Yeah, look, let's pick up on this. It might be Ollie. X Spaces are buggy. And there's nothing worse than being halfway through explaining something and dropping out. Like, it's debilitating, is it? It's demoralizing. You've gone to all that trouble to open your heart, and then the tech falls away, and then you got to start again. Right.
Yeah.
And you want a place that's solid and robust and safe, so that if you get on a bit of a roll, you're in a very delicate place. And it
Eh,
only
eh,
takes something like the tech knock working, or a knock at the phone door, or a knock at the door, or a phone ringing. Oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, Nader. So jump in, Nader, if you want to speak. Actually, I'll send.
that
Do you want to
it's
send her the
knit.
link? You have the link.
Oh, you know what? Let me send her the link. Oh, okay. Let me grab it here. So I think you sent it to me. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
let
think
me
I'm following
go.
her. Nader Safari. The
Yeah, yeah,
Safari,
that
yeah.
her. Can
So
you send it to her?
I'm sending it now. So
Okay, good.
what we're doing, Nader and Ollie, is Bez unbelievably has sent the file to YouTube and to Twitch, and I think also to LinkedIn,
And LinkedIn.
proving the point.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
me. It's me. It's me. So Nader and Ollie are in the call, and I've sent them the link. So
Okay,
that's the way I'm going to use it. I'm not going to make that link public so anyone can join, because there's only
right,
room for 10.
right.
So yeah, you won't get Zoom bombers. But the thing that's great about this format is, if you want to tell the world about something, you can send it to Twitch and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, and not yet Blue Sky, but it's coming. YouTube, linked Instagram and TikTok and all of them, right? And
Mhm.
it's very, 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 very cool. But not everyone wants to share that. And so Go Brunch, it's like a companion product for people saying, you know what, I do want to talk, but I don't want to tell everyone. Like, I mean, if you've lost your job and you're looking for a job, you don't really want the rest of the world knowing that. I wouldn't be
Right.
talking about that. So, I wouldn't go in the public format and say, hey, guess what? I got nothing to do. There's nothing on TV. Just thought I'd let you know I've lost my job. And if you've got any jobs, give me a call. I mean, you're not going to do that. You want to
Yeah.
talk to people that go, mate, I get you. It's hard, isn't it? You wake up some days and you don't know what's going on, and you feel a bit lonely. And I feel you. I get that. What do? I go for a run, or what I do is I chew gum. Chewing gum actually mitigates my depression. I just shared something. I just shared something there. No one knows. Not even my wife knows that, because she knows I chew gum, but she has no idea why. So,
Oh,
chewing gum has been factually proved to actually mitigate depression, and it's pretty cheap, and it loses 15 kilos an hour. That's why I'm chewing gum all the time.
wow.
I actually chews gum more probably than walking. So
Wow.
I chew gum a lot, because that's my little hack to relieve the pressure. But I don't want to be telling the world that. Yeah. I don't want to be going online saying, we're just sharing because we're sharing. But I wouldn't deliberately go online and tell people that. And, this particular test I'll probably now delete for that exact reason. But Kenneth is there, and he's savoring the flavor, sharing wisdom and kindness and patience and encouragement and empathy and understanding, and lots of other cool words. So, what we're doing here, this is the great sort of leveler. Everyone in the world can join. Everyone is equal. We can have 10 people on stage, but it's not perfect for every scenario. And, I've
Hey,
been retrenched before. It's the worst feeling in the world. Someone rings
yeah.
you and says, "Oh, mate, guess what? Guess what? I just did the books, and you don't need. Don't come back. Please don't come in Monday." Well, what? What do you mean? Oh, well, we just did the books and we don't need you. But
Oh,
I just bought a house, man. I mean, I just bought a house. I owe $1,000 a week on the house. Well,
oh,
that's not my fault. The business can't support you anymore, so don't come. This is what happens, isn't it? There's some people are good at it. Like, I'm so sorry. Let's have a bit of a chat about this, and here's a little bit of a present, a bit of a buffer, 6 weeks pay, or, we won't get rid of you straight away, but at the end of the month, is that all right? Some people are soft. Some people just say, mate, pack up and go. Be out of the building by the end of the day. Have you got any stories on that? How do they
yeah.
typically do it? Do they soften the blow, or do they just tell you?
Well, I'll tell you in a second, but I'm trying to get the link to Ollie. Well, Ollie says knock knock, but he said he was waiting for the link, and I was trying to find it. And then I don't. I think Ned is trying to come in. Did you get him the link?
I think I might have sent him the actual link to the show itself. I'll go in and
Okay. I'll while I talk, if you could send it to Ollie and Ned, I think they're trying to get in.
yeah.
So a reduction in force in Australia, they call it redundant, and or some people call them layoffs. They're actually they're um, they're supposed to be used when you know the business needs to make a business decision, and it's not personal. It's you know, usually they follow a policy to the letter, because when you do a reduction in force or redundancy, it is depending how large it is, or even if how small, you don't want to put the they're doing it because they need to they need to get bring payroll down, right? And you know, that is a budget item. Like, you know, people think, oh, it's, you know, it's my salary dollar for dollar. No, it's that plus a loaded investment in you, which is your benefits and everything else. And that can be as high as 30 to 40%, you know, with, you know, government taxes, benefits, and everything that they company needs to pay to employ you goes into that equation. So they're trying to move a payroll around. And so what will happen is it's not supposed to be personal. And I know there was somebody in the news that a CEO that said, "Oh, you know, he made some bravado statement, and it was not a good look for his company." Um, but I just want people to know that that's not the tool. If you're going to get rid of people, you shouldn't go through a normal disciplinary process, you know. And the first thing you need to do is tell folks, hey, you're not performing to par, blah blah blah. And then you need to go down that path of coaching. That doesn't work, then you need to go down some documented you know, documentation. So with that being said, layoffs suck. What how I have done them in the past when I've sat into HRC is, number one, I bring a recruiter with me. Now I'm a recruiter, but if I've had the HR role leader before, and I would, because you know I was bringing the bad news, so it doesn't matter what I say. I cannot play the role of light and darkness. When someone hears me giving them the bad news, I'm the dark person, right? So I need to bring someone with me, and I always bring a recruiter, because I want them to find another position in the enterprise, because that's institutional knowledge that is worth something we need to keep. And here's what's happened. They really like it when the recruiter gives them hope, because you know, you do affect the family when you lay off. And what I have found when I brought the recruiter, because the recruiter is able to work with that employee and not um and there's positions that aren't posted, so they can work together. And here's the net result. 99.9% of the people actually find a job within the enterprise. There was one person that didn't, but the leader told me that that person probably wasn't going to look for a job, and that was the case. They didn't want help, and sure enough, they didn't. But everybody else that we've brought the recruiter in, they found something. And that's what you want. You want, you know, it might not work for this line of business. They need to cut some payroll. But you know what? There's another department in the enterprise. And you know what? You're affecting people's lives. Let's make it work for them. So, yeah.
You ever had?
And
It's amazing. But, Kenneth has said he's been working for 44 years, never been laid off. Now, do you come across that very often?
yeah, actually, the place where I was doing some layoffs, and then I won't name the company, you know, because just out of sensitivity. That same company had people working in. We had a cardiac thoracic surgeon that retired at the age of 95. You know, I mean, we had 5 generations working side by side. It was one of those places that was, you know, just they were really good with their employees, and especially if you've been there a long time, you sort of you sort of live the values, right? And those were they were really I won't say perfect, but as any organization I've been in, they really exemplified their values. And so um what was really tough is doing those layoffs because in the policy, they celebrated your longevity with the organization. So that counted as something. So you would have consultants come in and say, well, you need to get rid of this, this, and that. And so, but our policy didn't support that, because they wanted to get rid of, whoever they wanted to, right? Because they wanted to keep the other people and say, no, our policy doesn't support that. We have to follow our policy for any reduction in force. And we rewarded people, the more they got more points, the more years they worked. So, yeah, I mean, that's a story, and yeah,
Wow. I was
mhm,
retrenched 3 times in 3 years. Man,
yeah,
that does the kick in the head 3 times. It's bloody hard. You
it
come home and you
sucks.
think, "We just bought a house, honey, and I don't have any money. We just bought a house, and
Wow.
we owe so much money, and now I don't have any. What are we gonna do?" It's hard, isn't it? It's horrible. But what I'm saying is that, a lot of people have been through this. A lot of people have been through this. Kenneth is saying he may stop after 40 years. I've got a very, 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 very cool story about this. So we've all got variations of this theme, and to have a really lovely support group like you do, Bez, it's a bit of a blessing. It's really a blessing, isn't it?
It is. I think, so it actually, so Netta gave me, inspired me, of a conversation. It was more out of accountability, but I had, gotten I've been testing some concepts for, for a 4 years, working with friends and saying, "Hey, try this." I, let's see if it works. And so I would actually get on the Zoom, say, "Hey, how did it work?" Blah blah blah, and I would really, sometimes go down a rabbit hole with them. With They would make a statement, say, "Well, what was that about? Tell me." And so one of the pieces of feedback I got was somebody, they were a very senior person and a leader, and so they, it was tough. And what they told me, and I would give them some career coaching, a few sessions to test things out. And of course, I was, it was during that time where I was doing a lot of things for free. I was testing, right? And so one of the things, the feedback they gave me is they said, "Baz, there's a lot of feedback, but around what you're saying is," they told me that they had gotten into some rooms, like support rooms, and their first thinking was, "Oh, I'm going to get in a room and everyone's going to be negative." And what they told me was it was quite the opposite. It was a very supporting, uplifting, and the person told me not everybody in there didn't have a job. Some people had jobs, but they were looking for another job, right? They weren't satisfied in the other one. So it's just because you're in a space that is about career search doesn't mean that you don't have a job. Uh, in fact, I have a couple in there in mind that actually have a job, but they're looking for another job, right? And so they also need support and encouragement. And here's the thing, Keith, when you're looking for a job, you're doing something you don't do a lot. So you're not that very good at it. And I have helped recruiter friends of mine and give them advice because they don't know how it is to sit on the other side of the seat, right? And so they're lost as well. So just because you're a recruiter doesn't mean a lot of times you're the ones that need the most help. And I'll remember, and here's something too that I can tell you because this happened to me. I remember having an 8-page resume and giving people advice on how to shorten their resume. And I looked at myself and I said, I'm not even, I'm not even practicing what I preach. I had to. blow. I mean, I was handing people an 8 page ebook. Come on now, that was like it had some weight to it, so I had to blow it up. We
Why
got
don't we
Ollie here.
bring in Ollie? Isn't he part of your group? It'd be very, very cool to talk to Ollie about how he's finding your group. This wonderful 50-page, 50-day sprint. Just to how are you going with that, Ollie? I'm dying to know in this context what you think.
You said that it's a bit of a blessing. I see that it's a mountain of a blessing. It's really a blessing to be part of a group. It helps me about structure because each day at the same time, it's 3 p.m. my time, I'm going to attend his group. And that's it. It's really, today we were 18 in total. And I was joking, I was saying to him, you might have to add more circles because now will be 20, 25, 30 people on his room. It will be amazing. He's excellent. So amazing.
Yeah. And with Go Brunch works on the principle of circles. If you haven't tried Go Brunch, you go into a room, just like this, and you have
Love it.
circles sitting down on little chairs. But have you found that process very comforting? Have you found it enjoyable and useful?
Me, yes.
Yeah.
What about Bez?
What do you think? 18 people in the room. You're onto something when you're getting big numbers.
Well, I in the beginning I was trying to get a lot of people in the room, but I remember when we started the first day with I think it was either 4 or 6 people. It wasn't a lot of people, right? And it was really easy to manage. And like as it got bigger, I noticed I really can't go around the room and have everybody introduce each other. But there was a reason why I wanted people to introduce themselves is because to get to know who I mean, that's how sometimes you're in the room and I remember there's people already in the room that have had a coffee chats with each other because they needed to talk to each other, right? And so that's the magic of that the introductions. Now today with 18, I didn't do introductions, but we had 4 people that came in. 2 were brand new. The other 2 had come several times, but I wanted to reintroduce them. So we had 4 people, and like the others, I didn't even bother because we know each other, right? We've been together for 10 days, so I think everyone knows each other. What I do selectively is I want to get everybody engaged. So I may ask questions and I'll give an opportunity for people to jump in. And we have this young person who's trying to get into cybersecurity, but he's in a job. He's going from being a cook or a chef, and he's taken all these classes, and he's earlier in his career, and he'll grab the mic and he'll share what he's doing. Like today, we talked about what are your use cases for your job search with AI? And it was interesting. I said, who would ever like to speak, grab the mic and, tell us your use case, tell us what tool you're using, and, if you want to share your prompt. And so it was interesting to see how different people used AI and the tools they used in their career search. And I was very surprised of how sophisticated some people got and how other people used it in their job search.
Yeah, I think the idea of sharing these processes it benefits everyone in the group remarkably. A lot of people don't know how much, but it's very important because what we take for granted, my wife takes a lot for granted. She's very, 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 very intelligent, and she doesn't know that people don't know. She's got 3 degrees, and she's like a super brain, and everything's easy for her. But it's not the case for everyone else, right? And she just forgets. So I think it's very, very, very important that we share these stories. Kenneth has got some shares if he wants to come in. I don't know if Nader is there as well. We can certainly have more people in the call if you want. But let's keep it moving. What do you think, Ollie? How are you enjoying the group? And can you give me some some examples of how you're doing it.
Well, what I love is that we are 18 brains or so. And so we have 18 kinds of information. For instance, Bess and Keith, do you know the Johari window?
Yeah, tell us about that. That was a bringo. Tell me about the Johari window. I want to hear. I heard you talk about it, but tell me more about it.
So it's right on point. There are things that I know that you know, things that I know that you don't know, things that you know that I don't know, and things that I don't know and you don't know. So it's about the power of sharing information. Like what I did with Johari window, it's Johari, and it's something to discover about the things that I might know, but the things that I might not know that you know. So there are multiple things that I'm aware through these kind of session or other sessions of tools or AI or whatever. And it's about sharing information. What is not shared is lost. And so, by instance, do you know another tool that is good for mental health? It's called the Sugar Cube Factory. And I've known that since 2015, 16. And you can send messages to strangers, and each day you are receiving messages from other strangers. And so it's like another tool that boosts mental health. So there are many tools that are interesting to discover, but we don't know all until we know, like EVMux, Restream, Go Brunch. So I was not knowing Go Brunch 2 months ago. And so it's through Margaret that I was knowing this amazing space. And now I'm in full love of it. So it's really a blessing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a two-way flow in the sense that we have to be open to the idea that some people know things we don't know. Like
Yeah.
some people don't accept that, and other things is that other people have got to be willing to share. Like the thing that's very interesting about my wife and people like my wife, things are so obvious to her that she even explains them as if they're obvious, right? So she makes you feel like a dickhead because it's so obvious to her. Her question is, why don't you know this? Well, hang on. You've got 3 degrees. I left school in year 11. You know, I didn't get the education you got. I couldn't possibly know this. But because you know it, once you know something, it's obvious, right? Once you know, it's obvious. But if you don't know it, how can you know it? And so this idea of a Johari window and a concept that we want to share what we know, and it's a very difficult game to play because we have this thing in Australia called mansplaining. I don't know if you've heard that phrase. It's probably not an Australian phrase, but someone says, "Look, I know everything about everything, and let me tell you that you need to do this, and that your life will be better if you take my advice." Do you come across mansplainers, Bez? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, that's a term we know here. So yeah, I think in this group, Ollie, we don't have any mansplainers because I think everyone's pretty level headed and it is. I think we all learn from the collective, each other, and like exactly what Ollie said. It's like we all have bits and pieces of knowledge, and like I tell them, look, I learned from you guys too. I may share something from you, but I need to hear your lived experiences, right? And how you approach things because everything is so contextual, right? Like one thing I'll tell folks is that, look, I know what works for me, but I'm 30 years in. I can give you the same I can give you a script to do the same thing I'm doing, but maybe you're at year 10 and I'm at year 30, right? And so I have to be cognizant that your delivery could be different because of where you stand today. And that's okay. You're going to have you'll feel comfortable with taking what I have and tweaking it to what works for you because you want to talk in a way that's comfortable and is more authentic for you or even where you're at in your confidence level. Not everybody is there's so many variants and different angles of this, because it's not just years, it's just not confidence or lack thereof. It's just there's so many variables that play into it that I can't tell somebody, here's a cookie cutter, because cookie cutters don't work with people. I can give you a framework and say, hey, let's put some tools together, and your tools are going to be personal to you. Let's just figure out what they are and how to use them at the right time. And then that's going to be customized to you, because you're you. Like, I'm not Ollie, and Ollie's not me, and I'm not Keith, and Keith's not me. We're all unique in our different ways.
Yeah, that's good. And that's actually the strength, really,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things, as an example, one of the things I have a lot of trouble with is I cannot get my head around how people can spend hours and hours and hours editing videos. I just cannot do it. No, I just can't do it. But people have a lot of trouble understanding how I can talk for 4 hours.
Right.
I have no trouble sitting on in a chair talking for 4 hours, but don't ask me to edit that conversation, because I just can't do it. So there's people that can do that, and they're very good at it, and we share those skills. We share those competencies, don't we? And
Right.
there might be a middle ground product that doesn't take very long, and I might be able to share some of my stories so that people can talk longer. I know people that can't open their mouth; they're just too terrified. We all know people like this, you know. Look,
There
mate,
are two.
I'm not talking in public. Cannot. Yeah, Ollie, you know someone like
There
that?
are there are two books that I recommend. The first book is Who Not How. It's to really not scratching your head in thinking how I'm going to do that, but who can help me to do that? Because maybe I can learn by myself, but it will probably take longer than if I say, okay, who can help me on that? Because maybe the person is more skilled than I am, and it will take me probably 1 year to master what someone is already mastering it and is taking hours of doing it. The second book is 3 Feet from Gold. It's about, okay, I have my mission to dig deep in the gold mine, but I don't know how. So I'm going to hire an expert, like hire your weaknesses. I love the metaphor of me as a fish. Why should I lose time on trying to climb the tree? No, I rather prefer to ask a monkey to drop me the banana rather than to try to catch the banana on the tree as a fish. So it's really to tap into each other's superpowers, because we are all different and
Yeah.
we have all richnesses each other's.
One of the calls I did a call yesterday with Corey Tallboy. He's in Atlanta. Best. Did you end up connecting with Corey Tallboy Taylor?
Corey?
Tallboy,
No.
he's a friend of Hurricane Dave.
Oh, I think I've talked to him, but I haven't connected. I think yes, he's a, because when I talked to him, he said he knew Hurricane Dave. Yeah, but like
Yeah,
I guess they work together or something.
and he said yesterday he was talking about some very, very high level products, and he makes a living doing this. And someone said, "Look, I'm right at the beginning. Where do we begin?" I'll share that information. Corey Tallboy is in Atlanta, the same town that Bez lives in, and he said, "Thank you so much for that to Rare Gem, Nududi, Duty. Jump in if you want to speak. I don't know if we're connected. I'll come and look at that in a minute." And so what Tallboy was saying is that sometimes the best idea is to offer something, a contra, like that person who's just started might be really good at video editing, or might be very good at making graphics, or might be quite a talented writer and could be able to blog on your behalf. Tallboy might be a very, very good video editor and might be very good at live streaming, but he might not know how to make graphics. Right. And rather than being the fish and climbing the tree to get the banana, there's a person here that knows how to edit videos and make graphics, and they're prepared to do that if you're prepared to help them learn live streaming. And if we can team up, it's not who, it's not how, it's who. Yeah, Ollie, that's a very good analogy, isn't it? Yeah. Now, what I'm
Yeah.
going to do, Bez, just have a look at this.
Right.
This comment here has come in on your account. It's come in.
Oh, okay. Let
Do
me
you know
look.
this person, Nadudi?
I think so. It sounds familiar. So there's Ned does host a um a space. Actually, so this is amazing. So he's a data analyst. He's out of St. Lucia. So wow. I guess we're reaching all over the world today. So yeah, I don't know him, but he looks like a decent person. He's got a nice profile on LinkedIn. So if you want to give him a let him in.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't find him. What I'm saying that is you probably can't see this, but on my studio
Mhm.
board, it says a person that was paired to your guest made a comment. Right. So,
Right.
for instance, Kenneth comes in as a person that's connected to me and made a comment on LinkedIn. Nadudi came in as someone that was paired to one of the guests. So he wouldn't have seen this content unless you sent it. And that's the power of Restream, isn't it? You've sent this to
Oh
so
yeah.
he's come in on your LinkedIn page, right? So
Yeah.
if you want to send that to him, I'm happy to have it.
Sure. Let me see what link. I know I was having trouble. Let me see. I'm on my phone. Look, so there's a Restream link, the back end link, right? I think that's the one. Uh, so let me
It's a
do.
Restream, Studio Restream.io, and then
I
EA.
share the link.
You could, but you're not connected with Nadudi.
No, but I share the link in the comments so that he can see it and he can join.
Oh,
Are they
okay.
live?
He's
Yeah.
I don't
he's
think they're live. I don't think. Can you click on them? Can you
I
click on the link if I post that in the comments? I don't think you can click on that, but he can copy or can he? I don't think you can click on it.
let me double check. Oh, you know what?
No,
I
we cannot click, but it's copy and paste. So at least
Can you copy and
he
paste it
can.
though? Can you copy? I don't think
Yeah,
you can copy and paste it.
that's what I'm
yeah,
gonna try.
he can.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's try that. I
Let me
can't
see.
find him, so he mustn't be in any way connected to me or anyone I know. So I don't know how to do that. But
Let me send it to him. Um, so I got this link, and then I guess it's gonna take me to. Okay, so all right, so okay, so that's the link. Let me copy this here. Can you put it in the private chat, and then I'll get it to him.
very good.
Oh wait, I actually here. Okay,
That's a
actually,
very good idea. So here's a person that I'm not connected with at all, and so much I don't even know how this happens. I can't find him. I thought once you typed in someone's name, it would come up. I can't even find him on LinkedIn.
well, I'm second connection with him. So let me I'm gonna send it to him now. Now I sent him a connection request. So let's uh let's do this.
Yeah, very interesting profile.
Yeah, he sure does. So let's see. But yeah, no, that's the beauty of this is that you can send spell his name N-U wait a second.
And
N-U
Doody.
N D. There it is. Okay. We send it to him. Message.
So yeah, it came up as a paired comment. So you
Right.
you as a guest have got the access now to send this file to three places: YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch. I don't know this person. You know them, but now they can watch our content. That's the power of Restream. isn't it?
That is amazing. Okay, I just sent him a
And I got
message.
a quote. I got a quote from him. He was posting his first post, and it was a video. If you don't build your dreams, someone else will hire you to build theirs.
Ooh, I've heard that before. That's a great
I
one.
think that's Steve
That's love.
Jobs. I think that's Steve Jobs.
Oh, really?
Maybe Bill Gates. Yep.
I've
If you
heard that
yeah,
before.
because Bill Gates needs people. Like Steve Jobs needed people. If you've got nothing to do, just come work for me
Mhm,
because I've got plenty for you. But there's a couple of things going on here. Nadudi is in St. Lucia, which is,
mhm.
I think, the area that my favorite show of all time called Death in Paradise is made from. I don't know if you've seen that show, Nadudi, or if it is indeed made in St. Lucia. But they talk a lot about Martinique and Guadeloupe and
Ah,
Antigua. And I love that show. It's my favorite show. So I'd love to have you on the show if you want to join. But this is the point. This is the actual point we're making about restreaming. I
uh-huh.
don't know this friend of yours. He made a comment. We're now talking about him and where he lives and what he does. And he may, if time allows, come on our show. Now, I didn't know him. There's no way in the world I would have ever connected with him if it wasn't for you, Bez. That's the
Mm.
power of multi streaming, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and I believe probably where I ran into him is, Neda has a Twitter space. So she runs a weekly show called The Hunt, and they try to help people from around the world get a job in tech, right? And so it's, there was a founder, and then Neda, is quite the hostess with the mostest, and she'll run that space Saturday afternoon, and, it's on Twitter, and it is buggy, but she'll get anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 people come through their room during the time that come there, and it is an amazing room, but you get a worldwide audience, and people come up on stage. We got a cohort of career coaches, we have recruiters and stuff, and then people come up and ask questions, and I think that's probably where he he probably, him and I probably got to know each other. I'm just trying to think, but I don't know for sure until he comes in. But Neda is quite the community builder, quite the, connector, and, she's become that, and, she's also in that cohort, and she shows up every day too. So it's, it's an amazing group, amazing people, and what I like about them, we're all really cool people. We're nice people, and I think, I borrow that, I borrowed this from Samantha Kelly.
Very nice.
You know
Very
Samantha
nice.
Kelly, the
Yeah.
tweeting goddess?
Yeah. So, yep.
Um,
Yep.
she has this saying that she's a people collector of nice people. And I go, "Yeah, me too. I like nice people."
Yeah.
Me too. I like nice people. That's why I'm connected with you, Bez, and with you, Keith.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like attracts like. So we honor the fact that everyone in the world is equal. Up until today, I didn't know about Nadudi, and I still don't know if that's the right way to pronounce his name. And I didn't know anything about him, but now it's quite possible that we might become friends, and he might come on my show, and I might go traveling and go to his house. But you never know. And this is the power of inclusivity, as opposed to exclusivity, isn't it?
well, Keith, you know what? I think I met you on Twitter Spaces,
Oh, you probably did. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and that was a while ago because I remember, there were 2 shows, yours and some other show going on at the same time, and the other show wanted me to come hang out with them. But I love your laid back, format, and you're very how you manage your show, and you're very inclusive. You pass the mic around. There was no attitude for the most part, heaviness in your room. People on Twitter sometimes can have personalities, and sometimes you're like, I don't. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, it's just sometimes is it for you? Like, there's certain vibes, and I was like, "Well, I like Keith's vibes, the best." So
Yeah,
I
because I
chose.
set the tone, don't I? I mean, I'm the
Yeah,
host. I set the
yeah.
rules. Like,
Mhm,
what happened today, this is a very interesting point, and this has happened to you, so I'll mention it and specifically. A person came in from Melbourne on the video. Now, they didn't know. They didn't know that I prefer audio, so I just gently asked him if he would put his thumbnail on, which he did. And he's a lovely person, and suddenly everyone in the room is equal. This is actually
mhm,
why I do it. I don't do it
mhm.
because I have an aversion to video. I want everyone in the room to be equal. Even if Richard Branson came on, I'd probably ask him to, go on. I'm happy for you to test me on that. But if Richard Branson came on, I'd say, well, would you mind? Everyone's equal, and no one's any better than anyone else. And that's my job. I set the tone. And if the host isn't strong enough to be forthright and set the tone, shows can go all over the place, and they can often be very, very destructive, can't they?
Yeah, I think, and sometimes it's a feeling out process, even for the host as they like, I'm an extrovert, but hosting is a separate skill. And sometimes, you're trying to set the vibe and you start your journey. And my journey's where I'm at hosting is not going to be the same as Keith, because Keith's hosted X thousands of rooms and I haven't. And so it's been a feeling out process for me. And but because I have a certain tone I want to set, and I don't ever want to set a demeaning tone. And so I'll give people grace, but then I'll explain it as a whole what I'm trying to do. So hopefully the person picks up on the hint, and the rest of the people do too in the room. So they don't do the same thing. And so, but I don't ever want to single out a person. On a l And I've had the good here's the thing, Keith. I've had the good fortune that on Go Brunch, I've not yet run across one troll. And I don't know, I'm waiting for that troll, because on Go Brunch, I don't know what it is, but it's a bunch of good people there. Now on anywhere else, LinkedIn, Twitter, I mean, I've run across some really interesting people. But, when I say interesting on Go Brunch, it's like high quality people. When I say interesting elsewhere, it's just like you've got some bad quality people. It's
Yeah.
not a good thing if I say interesting.
Look, I'm actually losing the signal here. Well, one of the reasons why I don't do video is it's not because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered shaving, although that is partially the point.
Mhm.
The internet is so slow here that I can't run video, and I'm having a
Uh,
bit of trouble running the stream. So what I might do is I might end the stream from the streaming point of view. We can continue
okay.
chatting. Bez has really embraced this and has sent it to 3 places. I'm going to now
Mhm.
finish the stream, and I'll go back
Okay.
and have a look at it. I'm going to maybe reboot my computer. You guys should be able to keep going, and
Okay,
that
we
should
will.
and it shouldn't affect the stream. And then when you're ready, you just end and leave at your leisure.
Are you gonna come back or no?
I might just grab a cup of tea and walk around. It's very hot here, and I've got to put the air conditioner on. But
Oh,
I
okay.
think I'm having some tech problems, so I'm probably going to have to reboot.
Okay.
But
Okay, well